Hey guys, this is Andrew with SHTF Honey Badger, and I'm going to be going over today my top 6 places I like to go to buy preps, and these places in my opinion are all great places as well if you're beginners. So we're going to be jumping into our list here today with our number 1 spot, which is going to be a warehouse store. Particularly for me, I like Costco. Sam's Club is also another great alternative to these. Warehouse stores are great places to start off when you're prepping. Personally, again, I go to Costco. That's just what I have local to me that I like the best personally. They have really good selections when it comes to bulk goods such as rice, dog food, non-perishable items like paper towels and toilet paper. You can get these in giant bundles and they're going to be relatively cheap. The big thing I will point out with a place like Costco or Sam's is you do need to be a little bit cautious on the price, because while for the most part your items like your disposable items or your larger bulk items, again like your rice or dog food, are going to be cheaper there. But you do get into stuff like canned goods, for example, which it may not always be the cheapest there. Sometimes they're actually a little bit more expensive and you want to wait till they go on sale, because with those type of warehouse stores, usually when those items do go on sale though, they are at blowout pricing and you will not find them cheaper anywhere else when it's at their sale price. The next place I have on my list here in the number 2 spot is going to be Walmart. Walmart is bar none one of the best places that any prepper can start off when they're buying their preps. And on top of it, almost every single one of us out there lives within probably a 15 to 20 minute drive of a Walmart, if not closer. Walmart, when it comes to their store brand on items like canned goods, are buying them from the same manufacturers that make the name brands. And they are typically going to be a little less quality because they are the store brand. They are going to be typically the ones that didn't pass to go on to those name brand brands, but they're coming from the same place. Overall, you're getting good quality for a very cheap price. A good example as well as, like I said, when it comes to canned goods for items such as vegetables or meats, you're looking at usually about a 30 to even a 40% discount versus other stores. For example, if you're just talking about vegetables, at Walmart, typically you can get their vegetables for about 50 to 60 cents a can, depending on where you live. And most competitors, from my experience when I've shopped around, are between $1 and $1.10 for a same size can of the same vegetable that, to be honest, probably originated from the same place. Another good example is going to be their corned beef. So Walmart brand corned beef has the same inspection stamp. More than likely, it's coming out of the exact same factory down in Brazil, I believe, is where most of them are coming from with the inspection stamp. But all it is a different wrapper on the can. Same can design, same inspection stamp with the same inspection number typically. It's just you're paying a significantly cheaper price because you're buying that store brand. So that's why I would put Walmart here as my number 2 on this list, is because of the fact that their store brands are good quality, well, significantly cheaper than any other competitors, which is really going to add up when you're stocking up out there. Number 3 on my list is going to be Scheels. Now, Scheels isn't a discount store. They're, a big outdoor retailer. I know they're in the Midwest. I'm not quite sure expansively how far they go, but they're similar to Bass Pro or Cabela's, which those also would be honorable mentions alongside Scheels in this case. But stores like that have a great selection when it comes to outdoor gear. And you do see stuff ranging from kind of your discount entry-level camping equipment, outdoor equipment, up to high-quality stuff you would see used by, for lack of a better words, professional outdoorsmen. Those type of equipments are items you need to be looking into, and they're still going to be, even at that base level there, a step up from some other retailers when it comes to getting them. But, outdoor cookware, backpacks, tents, sleeping bags, things of those nature, it's hard to find someplace, especially you can get it in person, at a better price than a store like Scheels. Number 4 I'm going to throw out here is Sierra Trading Post. If you happen to be near a Sierra Trading Post, I would highly encourage you to go check them out. What they kind of remind me of is a surplus store or a Burlington Coat Factory type store for new outdoors goods. So what I've noticed specifically that I've really honed in on there is their freeze-dried food selection. With Sierra Trading Post, if you're looking online, their freeze-dried food selections are very limited. But when you go in store, they have a pretty wide selection. At least the store local to me has a couple aisles worth of freeze-dried food in stock, and they're all the individual style, cook-in-the-bag type freeze-dried food containers. And I've also noticed with those, they're coming in at roughly 30 to 40% cheaper than what I'm finding online. So a good example would be the Mountain House Food from what I've noticed, when at least the time of filming, when I've looked around, the Mountain House food comes in at around $10 for a bag at most at retailers. When I go to the Sierra Trading Post store, I can locate that there typically between $6 to $7. It's the exact same product. It's perfectly sealed in the bag. When you look at the expiration dates on these, the expiration dates are the appropriate amount of time out for that product. So it's not like this is product that's been sitting on a shelf somewhere for 5 to 10 years. They just tend to sell it at a significantly cheaper price, from my experience, than pretty much any other retailer if you're looking for individual servings of freeze-dried food, which, again, as well, I do want to throw out there is probably the way to go with your freeze-dried food for most people. Keep in mind, when you're ordering the buckets, you're ordering those survival packages online from companies, they're coming in a bag that has a ridiculous amount of servings, so unless you're feeding a family of 5 or 6, you're probably not going to cook up that whole bag, and then you have to deal with storing a partial bag of food that's freeze-dried versus those individual containers you can get at places like Sierra Trading Post at that good discount. You just cook up the whole bag, and that's one meal for one person. The 5th place on my store here is, or on my list here, is going to be Dollar General, particularly, or any other dollar store that's similar as well. Dollar stores have some amazing finds. You do need to be careful when you go to the dollar stores because there are some items such as paper products I would personally avoid here because they're very cheap. They're also overpriced for the sizes they come in. Batteries are another one to avoid. But again, when it comes to items like canned goods, it's hard to go wrong. If you're buying the same brand of pork and beans, whether you're going to be at Walmart, you're going to be at a Baker's, a Target, or you're going to be at Dollar General, it's the same can. Came out of the same factory with the same label and the same manufacturer. It's just cheaper. So for those particular items, Dollar General is always great to look at. I've had great luck when it comes to canned soups, and a good example is pork and beans, finding them to be the cheapest by quite a bit. And again, when you start thinking about it, 10, 15 cents a can doesn't seem like a lot to be cheaper than someone else. But if you're buying dozens or even hundreds of cans, that's going to add up pretty significantly over the long term. So that is why I would add them on my list here and say they are on my number 5. Now, the number 6 here is one that I may get a little bit of flack for, and that's okay. Amazon. When you're out there pretty much anywhere in the United States, for example, you can get Amazon delivered to your door in usually about 2 days for most products. If not 1 day, or in a lot of locations anymore, seemingly, you can get same-day delivery. But Amazon makes it up here not because they have the highest quality products at times, because keep in mind, there's counterfeits on Amazon, so I would urge you to be a bit cautious with it. And depending on the products, you can get new old stock, so if it's something with an expiration date, got to be a little bit cautious on that. But overall, for just the broad selection they have, especially when it comes to unique items, they have to make this list. If there's items, for example, two-way radios. If I'm looking at a 5-watt GMRS two-way radio, they're one of the few places where I can order one and have it to my door within 48 hours. I don't have a single store locally I can buy an actual 5-watt GMRS radio at. Trust me, I've looked. I'm in a pretty large metropolitan area, and there just isn't people that sell it. So when you're looking for products like that, you're looking for, smaller accessories, they're a great place to go. They do have good name brands on there as well, so I'm not going to discount that and say they don't. You have companies like 511, Vertex, and so forth that sell products on Amazon, but you got to be cautious you're not getting the counterfeit items. But from my experience, Amazon's been really trying to nip that in the butt, so to speak, within the last 6 months to a year. But again, great option for those one-off items or those items you're having a lot of issues finding locally. And sometimes, too, you actually can find that a lot of the retailers you buy from, a good example of this is LA Police Gear is a retailer out there that sells items on their website, also sells on Amazon, and their Amazon site actually is cheaper. So a lot of times if you look for a same product on a retailer's website, but then you see it on their Amazon page, it may be cheaper on Amazon. So that's why I'm throwing Amazon out here. You can just sometimes get some great deals on products there as long as you're cautious and just review those products when you get there. Side note specifically on Amazon, do not ever buy your medical supplies from Amazon. You can buy a medical kit, like the bag you put it in, but I do want to throw that out here since Amazon made the list. Don't ever buy your actual medical supplies from them. They are known for specifically counterfeit medical supplies, and if you use those, it's going to be a bad day. So that's one of the ones where I'm going to say definitely go someplace like T-Rex Arms or North American Rescue directly where you can buy the legitimate products. So again, with that exception, Amazon's good for a lot of little items or random off items that you can't find locally to you. And I'm going to throw out here an honorable mention. The honorable mention I want to throw out here is SG Ammo. They're down out of Oklahoma, and from my experience, they've been a great group of people to order ammunition and certain firearm accessories from. They're, from my experience, one of the few that has actually had ammo in stock consistently throughout all of the shortages within the last 10 years. Anytime I've had the shortages where my local stores are empty on the shelves, most other websites are empty on the shelves, I've usually been able to, at least in some limited quantity, find the ammunition I'm looking for at sgammo.com. So that's why they're making my honorable mention here, just because they've always been good to me. From what I've seen, they've always been good to most of their customers out there as well. They've been reliable with their shipping. They've been upfront about their delivery times. And they just have a very good selection, and they always seem to at least have a minimum amount that is in stock, regardless of the shortages you see elsewhere. So that's why SG Ammo made my honorable mention here today. Just want to point out as well, with all of these places that I listed, I don't have any affiliation with any of them. They're just places that I think are relatively good to shop overall. But now that we've made it through these lists here, tell us where you like to go out and buy your preps. Let's hear it from you guys, straight from the source. Drop it down in the comments below. What's your favorite places to go? And while you're going down there to drop that, if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button on the way. Thank you for tuning in today. Stay safe and stay prepared.